Who saw this coming? What an absolute madness. This is Jonny Evans has been signed on a short-term basis. Couple of games he's going to be available for Manchester United. But talk about really letting Harry Maguire know that he is sixth choice centre-half at the club. Wow. In all honesty, I actually think I like Jonny Evans. And I think Jonny Evans would be a fantastic backup defender for Manchester United. If he's like, yeah, I know I ain't going to play. Professional, experienced, obviously a Manchester United player. I really can't find anything to be negative about with this. I just saw a comment saying, someone said, this is taking a place away from a youth player. Is it though? You're looking at what? Ted Mengi maybe realistically pushing to be first choice, and you know that's debatable whether he could do that. Jonny Evans, it wouldn't be debatable. Jonny Evans would be reliable. I have got zero qualms about this whatsoever, and I do expect Harry Maguire to be moved on. There you go. It looks like Lindelof isn't going to feature for whatever reason, so really can't find anything to complain about with Jonny Evans coming in. If he plays well in them 2 games, I think there's a good chance that he gets offered a contract for absolute sure. Yeah, Will Fish is probably another option, but I think Will Fish is probably a little bit behind Tedden, and I don't know if Tedden's ready yet as well. So, you know, if we're being very real with ourselves, if we had to start a Premier League game and it was Tedden or Will Fish playing, would you feel entirely comfortable about it? Because right now I don't think we've seen the evidence that those players are capable of playing to the standard that would be required. If it was Jonny Evans that featured because everyone else was either injured or suspended or whatever, alongside, you know, pick any of the centre-halves that we've got, would you be more comfortable? I think you would. I'm pretty sure you would. Someone says in the comments there he was catastrophic with Leicester the last 2 years. I don't know if he was. Leicester have been, you know, Leicester have been shy collectively. I think Jonny Evans can still do a job ahead of a youngster. And like I said, I think if he came into the team just to train with them for fitness, and on the back of that, the gaffer's gone, give him a shirt. Now that tells me he's impressed. So it doesn't matter what we saw in a Leicester shirt last year. Here's what we saw. We saw Jonny Evans well, we didn't see it, Ten Hag did. Ten Hag has seen Jonny Evans in training, gone, I'm having a bit of that. Give the man a deal for 2 games. No matter what, you have to back what the manager's saying there. He clearly impressed. He was only there for fitness. Wasn't there trying to get a contract, anything. Just was there for a bit of fitness, knows the club, lives around the corner, and the manager's gone, do you know what? I'll have a bit of that. Do you know what I mean? Can't get mad at that in the slightest. So, let me read the actual quotes, everything that's been happening with it then. So, Hojlund, looks like personal terms are agreed, and it's so backward the way this is done now, but Ducker and Romano both saying that personal terms have been sorted and United are going to put in an actual first offer. So whatever that was last week that supposedly got rejected wasn't an offer, I guess. Personal terms are 100% agreed. The price tag is said to be somewhere like 65 to 70 million. Now that's dear. That's dear for... The headline is he scored 9 goals. He scored 20 in reality when you include his internationals in there. And he scored 9 goals, but he scored that in like 20 matches. So it wasn't like he scored 9 goals and he played 59 games. He basically got a goal a game, and he had a handful of assists in the mix as well. So there's a really good graph which shows that he's basically one of the top 10 strikers in world football at the moment on the data, which I think is worth looking at. And, you know, the data's the data. You have to see what he looks like in a United shirt. Can he facilitate others scoring goals? If he can do that, then, you know, he can be that. You don't necessarily need to score 30, 35 goals as a number 9 to be successful. We have got goal scorers in the team. Anthony needs to chip in with some more. Mount will probably chip in with some. Bruno has, 10, 15 goals in him every single season. Rashford should chip in with some goals. You know, can you find 80, 90 goals across your team? If you can find 80, 90 goals across your team, I think you're fine. And like someone says, yeah, signing Maguire needs to read the room. Basically, yeah, Maguire needs to have a think about what's just happened here. Omar says 9 in 32. He had 20 and a half 90 minutes. So, riddle that one. You know, he got a goal every like 100 and something minutes. He's in pretty good hands. Brian says similar to the Mount deal, no problems getting the player in, just the money. Get him for 40 million, perfect. Yeah, on Hojlund, 65, 70 million feels like we've been squeezed a little bit there, doesn't it? I like him, I just don't like him at that sort of cash. I think that's probably overpaying a little bit. However, if we move Maguire on, you've moved De Gea on already. You bring in Mount, you bring in Onana, you bring in Hojlund, you somehow get Jonny Evans in, and you sign Amrabat a little bit later in the window. Genuinely wouldn't have a problem with that. Genuinely wouldn't have a problem with that. James Ducker's weighed in. He says that Atalanta have got zero interest in a player exchange for him. Who do you reckon we offered? Van der Beek? Martial? Who do you reckon it was? And interestingly, Tellez to Al Nassr is very, very close, according to Romano. He says they're closing in on signing a deal for Alex Tellez. It's at a really advanced stage already. Documents being checked, personal terms being agreed. He joined United in 2020 for roughly 15 million. Remains to be seen if United will even make that fee that we originally paid for him. From the start of Ten Hag's reign, very clear that he wasn't in these plans. Shipped out on loan, not really looked bothered about him, and it looks like United are finally going to get a little bit of that Saudi cash by flipping someone over there. How much it will be remains to be seen, but I mean the prices are bananas that people are going to Saudi for, so it could be anything. And according to Romano and Mailsport, Bruno Fernandes has turned down lucrative offers from multiple Saudi Arabian clubs. Apparently there were 2 approaches made in June, to which he said no, which apparently lines up with the sources believing Bruno is the big favourite to become the new United captain following Maguire being stripped of the honour, which begs the question, if they're taking Tellez and they've tried to bring in Bruno, how many other players at Old Trafford have genuinely been tapped up by, or at least had contracts offered to them, with permission or without, by clubs in Saudi Arabia? It's insane what they're building, isn't it? It's genuinely insane. Genuine insane. Kim Min-jae apparently has just been confirmed to Bayern. It's a great signing. Well says you got to love Bruno being captain. Every rival fan hates it, which means it's a good idea. Love that. So Mark Critchley and The Athletic have also said that Hannibal could be leaving on a permanent basis, not being ruled out because of the club's finances, but a new loan is envisaged. There's a couple of players that are really in a really weird spot at the moment where you go, are they going to go on loan, or are they going to be flipped for a permanent? And it could go either way with it, couldn't it, with a few of them? So we will see, I'm sure. Get your questions in. Let's see what everyone's saying. Live now. Possibly going live in the morning, but not certain. We're off to New York tomorrow, so I've got to get out of the house pretty early, try and be at the airport for about 11ish. Have I had an offer to manage over there? I think I'm 5 wins away. I reckon I'm 5 wins away from getting on the blower and saying, come here. I mean, if Steven Gerrard's got a job, that phone has got to be ringing soon, hasn't it? Detox says, would love to see us go for someone like Santiago Jimenez if Martial leaves. Rashford deal confirmed. Yeah, I mean, we spoke about that yesterday a little bit, didn't we? So, it's one of those. Shobit says, if we don't get a young striker like Howland, would I consider a stopgap like Mitrovic? Yes, possibly. McCullough vindication for Harry Evans. He was never really wrong with Jonny Evans. What's really interesting is he's not going to know. McCullough is in the air right now. He's literally flying right now. So he's not going to know Jonny Evans is signed until we land, which is hilarious, isn't it? Mark says, would you take both Hojlund and Moane or just Osimhen if they would be priced the same? Ooh, that's a good one. I think I'd lean towards Osimhen, actually. Mitrovic is off to Saudi. I can see that. Honestly, it's fucking nuts, isn't it? Genuinely. I don't know who else they're going to come in for next. I think there's probably another dozen or so players that are going to end up in Saudi. Brian says, think Lampard might be next to be announced for a job over there. How can you win over there, though? Because you're going to have some players or some squads probably that are like Saudi League level, which is what? And I want to talk about league levels in a minute because people did some serious fucking projections about the Japanese league the other day. So whatever the Saudi league is and whatever it is, right? There's going to be some that are still that level. And then there's going to be some teams which look like an all-star team. Like, unless you've got the team where, Kante and fucking Benzema and all them lot are, you ain't winning shit. So it's there, like, which team is it? Because you can tell me the team. I haven't got a fucking clue what the teams are called at the moment, to be honest with you. So it'd be like, what's one of those? Wolves says, Steve, what's more likely, FFP being enforced in Saudi or FFP being removed from Europe? FFP being removed from Europe is 1,000% more likely than Saudi enforcing FFP. It's their league and they're putting the money in. Why would they do anything other than that? It's going to get funky if Newcastle start loaning players from that league, isn't it? That's when you know it's going to be a bit on top. Whether they have to implement a law saying you can only bring in one loan signing or something like that, I don't fucking know. When will Saudi have teams in the Champions League? Well, with it being the European Champions League, I don't envisage that happening, but I do believe that this could be an acceleration of either the World Club Cup or some form of Super League. I think that would probably be how it goes down. Super chat from SK said, I'm not worried about the Super League. If they have ambition, they'll play in Europe, and it's a great send-off for players on the older side. I'm not sure, I'm not sure. I think Saudi could become legitimately a problem. What they're doing is unprecedented at the moment, and I think they know that if they get the TV money, they'll do anything. And actually, I don't even know if they need the TV money. I think they're a problem. They're a genuine problem. Noto says Israeli teams are in the Champions League and they're in the Middle East. Without getting too political, can you imagine how it goes for Israeli teams if they played localized football in the Middle East? Just think about it, right? So, yeah, there's a reason that Israeli teams are allowed to compete in the Champions League. And yes, it is the Middle East. However, if they were to compete in, a Middle Eastern competition, it's not going to go well for them. And I don't mean from a sporting point of view, because I think they'd probably be fine from a sporting point of view, but I think it would be a little bit on top otherwise. Yeah, I just don't envisage a Saudi team being in the Champions League. I think it accelerates the Super League potential, and I think it accelerates the World Club Cup into being a little bit more prominent. And on someone was saying, oh, there's been some Japanese players that have done well in the Championship, so I think that the Japanese league is Championship level. Oh, you mean the best players in the Japanese league have been able to play in the Championship? That doesn't give you the average level of the league at all. I think there's a very real chance that the Japanese league is about as good as the National Conference. Genuinely. Super chat here from Brandon, says, not going to lie, when Romano announced Evans to United, I about had a heart attack until I saw it was only for pre-season. Well, we will see. Stellion says, where are you going to visit in New York City? So we spoke about this last week, but I haven't actually headed over there. Head over to Reddit/r/Howson, and I'm going to start looking for some recommendations on things to do. We have got a little bit of downtime. It's not loads, but I'm looking for things to do while I'm in New York, San Diego. I'm going to do a couple of nights in LA, and obviously we got Vegas on top of that as well. JSM says people are the root of division. Court says interesting that Carragher still hasn't mentioned Gerrard going to Saudi. Raf says the scary thing is they won't die down because they literally have oil money. As you said, they've no regulation. Comparison to the Prem is fallacious. Jesse says, I wouldn't watch the Super League if it becomes a thing, and so should everyone else. Tom says the new version of the Champions League from next season will be wildcards, and I guarantee Saudi teams will be in it. Money talks. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Calvin says Saudi government has given the club 17 billion from now to 2030 to spend to build up the football in the country. More than 3 billion a year. Fuck me. Yeah, I mean, all right, some of that is obviously going straight to fucking Benzema's getting paid 1 billion. Shelley says, Jonny Evans isn't better than Maguire. He's been crap for half a decade now. I urge you to watch football. Brian says Ronaldo's trying to take credit for the players moving over there. Knew he had an ego, but that's next level. To be fair, I think there's probably some of the reason he went was probably that he was informed this was maybe on the cards. Like, sit tight, you're playing against farmers and fucking, barbers for 6 months, and then we're going to do an absolute madness when the summer comes. And he might have gone, okay, fine. That probably was part of the negotiations that they were having. Imagine if Messi went. Well, he's gone to America, hasn't he? And he's making a big old deal out of it, which you would expect. Wells says Benzema's becoming a billionaire for kicking a ball. Benzema's becoming a billionaire for kicking a ball in the twilight of his career. That's the mad ones. Devan says, my feelings on Kim's failed transfer. I think he'd have been good for United. I'm sure he'll be good for Bayern. The fact he's gone Bayern means, he's a good player. Parthips with the super chat says, genuinely the best United content on YouTube. Deserve way more subs. Love from India. Cheers, our kid. Appreciate the compliment. SK says, Messi can go whenever he wants to Saudi. I think that would be true as well. Chaz says, Steve, with your latest video, when is the game in Dublin? Can't see any details online. Love to come and watch it. It's going to be on the 5th of August. We're playing a team called Tech United, TEK United. I imagine it's at their gaff. Kickoff is, I believe, 3 o'clock. Might be 2 o'clock. But don't worry about it. You'll find out. Damien says, Steve, what's with the media, including Paddock's Insta post, defending Arnold and Murta, saying we're having a good summer window, didn't get Kane, Osimhen or Kim. Mate, sometimes it might not be that we went for him. We have no proof that we've gone for any of these players. And guess what? If the player goes, no, actually, I don't want to do that, then it doesn't matter what we do. I would say they are having a pretty good window. It remains to be seen once you get them all over the line. But I would say so far, we've got a couple of targets in before pre-season starts. That's a fucking improvement on what we've had recently. I remember being told we'd signed Maguire in the middle of pre-season in 2019. Lol. You're getting your big moves in early. If we can get Hojlund done in time where he can actually join the tour, that's fantastic. Wolf says, Steve, people don't rate Howson because he doesn't move gracefully, but neither does Muller, and he's been world-class for years. It's about efficiency. He's a good player. That's the top and bottom of it. Do I have any concerns about Howland's scoring record? Nope. Julio says, have I heard the rumours about Kimmich not being unsellable anymore and talk of Goretzka leaving Bayern? I haven't, actually. Am I taking a break from 5 with Rio? Well, Rio's taking a break. Rio always has a summer off. He's also, his missus just given birth to another kid as well. So, congratulations to Rio on baby Shay. So I'm sure he's just chilling on that. The Swizzler says, any news on New York events? Keep it flexible. I'm sure we're going to be doing stuff. I am deliberately staying out of all of it. I'm going to be kicking about, but don't put any plans on me because... No, I don't like to be shackled like that. Also, you got fucking time differences and this, that, and the other. Follow us on Instagram. You'll see our stories, and we'll let you know what's going on. Every morning, I'm sure. But we're out there seeing how it is. People assume this is some sort of a holiday. We will be working fucking 18-hour days out here. It was the same at the World Cup. There was times you can let your hair down and have a good time. But there's also times when you're going absolutely fucking red line. And pre-season tours are a bit of a red line. So just keep it flexible. We'll find out. We will be doing meetups, but we have no fucking ideas where. But if you know a venue that's open to doing something, let's put it on my Reddit or bosh it in the comments after this and we'll sort it out. Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up there, but cheers for tuning in. As always, we're heading out in the morning, so should be good. Can't wait. It's going to be a good old one, I think, this time. But cheers for tuning in, as always. See you in a bit. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too.